Hello and welcome back to The Lion's Den, the only podcast run solely by a single British person called Matt. Anyway, I'm your host as always, and today I want to talk about my excitement, disappointment, and tragedy when it comes to Mario Kart, because Mario Kart has been all I've been doing, honestly, recently. Normally, when I've finished work and I've got my evening time, some days I go to the gym and then I just chill out before I go to bed, and some days I play games, some days I draw, bada bing, whatever, yeah. Recently I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart. I've been kind of dancing between Mario Kart, Tears of the Kingdom, and Smash Bros. Mostly just because Smash Bros is one of those things that I've been keeping going for ages now, and I'm actually starting to make some progress, and obviously Tears of the Kingdom came out recently, and I've been really enjoying that and doing all the little bits that I want to do on the side. Mario Kart has been a new thing because I play it when the new wave of DLC comes out, and then I drop it for ages until the next wave comes out, and we're almost at the end of that now. We've got one wave to come sometime before the end of this year, so that's going to be interesting. But I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart Online because I've actually really started to enjoy playing Mario Kart semi-competitively, I suppose. Obviously, it's RNG items nightmare, so you can kind of only expect so much, but there is a lot of strategy, and obviously good driving gets you pretty far when it comes to playing online. So my current goal has just been increasing my online score. I'm currently at 7100, I think I got up to on Thursday or some day. So that's been steadily increasing, and it looks like the game does a decent job of matching you with people roughly around 1,000 points above or below you. They tend to be around your score, but they can kind of dip as low as 1,000 below you. They don't tend to put people that are much higher against you, so that's a nice thing, I suppose. It means that you are never in a room where you're going to lose a load of points because you were beaten by someone so much better than you or so much worse than you, which is great. Obviously, online races are very interesting because people, when given the option between 3 courses or random, will oftentimes pick the worst course. I can't even explain it, man. You give people something like the new DLC track, a previous DLC track, and, I don't know, Excite Bike Arena. They'll pick Excite Bike. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Pick the fun tracks, the decent tracks. There have been some information around going online that people suggest that most common players will pick the really dumb, simple tracks, like Excite Bike, for example, because it gives them a higher chance of winning. Any track that's complicated or requires some strategy or knowledge of how to play the game, they don't like because they lose to someone who can actually play the game. But to me, I'm the opposite. I love those tracks that require some skill because it means I have to actually play properly, versus Baby Park, where I just drive in a circle for 7 laps and pray that the RNG gods smile favourably upon me. So I've had some very frustrating races because I've done nothing wrong and just lost because game, and I've had some really incredible races where I've driven flawlessly and had some really good item strategies. So that's a whole roller coaster of learning how to play online properly and learning how people play. One thing I really suck at doing is using the rearview mirror. I do not look behind me at all because it confuses my driving. So like, obviously left and right are not flipped but flipped visually, which confuses my brain, and then I drive wrong. And then yeah, sometimes I've had those rare circumstances where I've looked behind me, seen impending doom, and been like, well, it's too late now. Like, for example, I think one race there was a guy stood behind me fairly close, threw a bomb as I was looking behind me, and I was like, well, what was I supposed to do? So you have to just kind of take some of those with a grain of salt. But I've been really enjoying the fact that I can learn tracks in time trial mode. That's super useful because some tracks are really weird to drive, really confusing and complicated. Time trial mode is extremely frustrating though, because to me, I don't know enough about what I'm doing and how to actually manipulate the game to be able to do these time trials correctly. Like, I'll see them do a strategy and be like, right, let me try and do it, and I can't replicate how they're doing it, and it just is super frustrating because I don't know what the problem is and there's no indication as to what the problem is or how to adjust, so I just have to kind of trial and error or pray that some miracle happens and it works. I don't know, that's a skill issue. Honestly, I just have to try and get better, or maybe look up some information online. The really frustrating thing though is I said to myself, if I do time trials, I have to time trial with the vehicle I want to use online. There's no point finding the specific vehicle that's great for a track because I won't use that online, will I, right? But then I had this really frustrating thing where I didn't like any of the new meta combos that people have said are really good. So I started just using my regular combo, and then I was finding that if I actually change it to a meta combo, it's easier to drive and faster, and yeah, that kind of sucks. But whatever, I can settle into a new groove and enjoy the game again because I now have even more ability and better control. Like, I think I was literally being limited by the fact that the combo I was using was difficult, essentially. That's all I can say. I imagine there are people who could make that combo work really well, but for me, as a intermediate player, it was holding me back, which is really frustrating. But the time trialing is enjoyable in the sense that it's just you and the track driving. It's hilarious because some of the Nintendo staff time trials are really easy, some of them are ridiculous, and I don't understand why. But honestly, I think half the time they don't do certain strategies that the world record would do. So if you want to beat the staff time trials, you basically just have to drive the track fine, like really nice adequate quickly, plus throw in a couple of world record strategies. None of the crazy stuff, a lot of the world record strategies will use motion glider, which is not a thing you can do online. Or at least it's not a thing you can do online feasibly. So don't worry about those things. You'll lose loads of time there to just not being able to do that. But if you do some of the really tight shortcuts or some of the advanced lines that the staff time trials won't do, you'll find them not too difficult, honestly. Also, it's a really great way to listen to the music because some of the tracks have phenomenal music. Absolutely phenomenal music. I mean, I had London Loop stuck in my head for days when listening to it because it's just such a great song, and it really encapsulates that kind of style for England, that kind of rock era that we were quite well known for. I love the tour tracks because the music somehow just fits perfectly with the vibe of the city that it's based on, and that's hats off to the music department. They've really nailed that, and it really helps accentuate the atmosphere of the track that you're driving. Plus, some of them are just awesome tracks. Like I say, London Loop's a really good one. I think Singapore Speedway, that track is really good. Athens Dash is spot on for how it sounds. The LA Laps is really nice as well. They just sound really good. Time trialing has shown me some of my deficiencies in terms of driving, which is fine because it means here's something to improve on. Certain things like learning how to do parts of Yoshi's Island, that was really helpful because Yoshi's Island is a surprisingly difficult track, especially like the glider when you go up into the clouds, how to make that cancel before the really sharp right turn. Learning that was huge and really helped with getting around that track more efficiently. Doing squeaky clean sprint and learning how the water mechanics works, that's really helpful, and the correct paths to take for that. So all useful stuff, and hopefully it will help me out in the long run when I'm playing online. So looking forward to that. I might try some more of the fun, weird combos. I currently still use Roy, but I have started using the Teddy Buggy because it just drives so well. It's so much easier to get mini turbos with a Teddy Buggy than it is with Mr. Scooty, which is annoying and frustrating. I did initially switch to the pipe frame with Link because I wanted to try that out, but I think the problem is the pipe frame, the hitbox of it is wider than the character model. So I kept finding that I was just getting hit by stuff constantly, or I was missing item boxes because I wasn't compensating enough for the size of the vehicle. So, and yeah, I kind of gave up on that one fast. So I went back to what people agree is the good combo. So, okay, final thing in terms of Mario Kart. Red shells, we all know, they just work. They are almost nigh impossible to dodge without an item. So if you've got a red coming and you don't have any sort of protection, you're probably going to get hit by said red. Green shells, on the other hand, are absolute chaos machines. They will bounce around forever and are completely unpredictable. And the number of times that I've hit myself with my own green shell is too many to count. I literally lost a London Loop race because on the final corner I threw a green shell at the person in front and it missed. What it proceeded to do was bounce off the walls and come clean back at me on the final corner. So I went from second to 5th because it just ricocheted perfectly back into my face, my stupid face for throwing the green shell. I don't know what it is. If you throw a green shell forward, you are 99% guaranteed to probably hit yourself, so maybe I shouldn't do that. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed listening. Stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!